Alright, cool. Thanks very much for joining. This is Grassroots Boxing with Jimmy Mack Jr. in your house.
I wish, mate.
Recently developed.
Secret location.
Secret location, yeah. Alright, cool. Well, thanks for giving us a bit of your time today.
Yeah, no problem, mate.
Hopefully we'll run through a few things, but obviously, first of all, we might as well start off with the news that Chris EUBANK or James DEGALE and Chris EUBANK have signed to fight. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been boiling now for a few years since before he turned professional, really. I think after James boxed George Groves, I think he sent him a long Facebook message on private message saying, "Don't lose your confidence and ego and keep that, because one day when I turn pro and like become bigger, and then we're going to fight and we're going to make loads of money and blah blah blah." And then he turned professional and he had a few pro fights. I think he had about 4 or 5, and they put a little message in to come down and spar, but it was going to be like over a 2-week sort of period or whatever. And he come down, and it was what it was. It was an 8-round spar, and take from it what you want. It was a spar, and he left there and he was quite disrespectful. He put things out saying that, you know, he schooled James DEGALE and this, that and the other, but he put things out that I think he dropped George Groves, and he broke Nathan Cleverley's rib. And so people were sort of like, but because his name's EUBANK, people buy into it. They think, oh really? But yeah, it was what it was. And since then, really, the bad blood's been sort of boiling, and they've sort of been back and forward on Twitter and stuff. And yeah, we're here now. The fight's
sparring. I mean, when EUBANK was fighting Groves, he was pretty much saying similar things, wasn't he? And said that, I can't remember if he said he dropped him, but he schooled him. And
yeah,
I think Groves was like, yeah, okay, yeah.
I think pretty much like from there you could if that was the truth, then sparring and fighting's fighting. Because on the night he couldn't do anything really. I thought George Groves did easy.
I get what sparring's for, but it's, you know, EUBANK obviously took something from it, that whether it was or what was there, but it's sparring, it's not a fight, isn't it? And
yeah, you're there to learn, you're there to condition yourself, obviously to prepare you for the amount of rounds that you're going to be like facing on the night.
Was it quite a brutal spar, or was it just a...
James and EUBANK?
Yeah.
No, it weren't a heavy, like, not really, no, it was, James is like, he's such a special talent, like, and he gets in the ring with anyone, and he can make really good fighters look really like average or below par, just because he's just so talented. But this day it was like, I think Chris Jr. was sort of there trying to prove a point a little bit, but James didn't like really whack him and put him in his place. He was like a 4 or 5 fight novice. It was just like, he just let him know who the governor was, and
British champion or something at the time.
European champion he was, yeah. Yeah,
so
and he just literally let him know who the governor was, and just, yeah, and it was just pretty much one there, because obviously we was going to do it over 2 weeks. They're supposed to come back down the second week, but after all the tweets went out, James was like, right, all right, make sure you come, and he just never sort of come back down.
Was the dad there as well?
The dad was there, yeah. EUBANK Senior was there.
Did he say anything after? Was he trying to get on or anything, or?
I suppose like. He didn't do it like sort of in front of everyone, but I bet sort of behind closed doors, I bet their whole reason for turning up that day was probably to just cause a little bit of animosity, cause a bit of a talking point, and just put a story out there that this had happened. And then obviously everyone on Twitter's going, oh, is it or ain't it? And people are going, some people are like, don't be so stupid, but some people are like, oh wow, this must have happened. But no, I can assure you that that never happened.
Did it get filmed, the spar?
No, it was just a closed spar. Who was there? There was obviously my dad, myself, James's sister. We was working. We had the gym at the time. James's dad was there. EUBANK Senior was there. Ronnie Davis was there, and EUBANK brother was there. And that was everyone who was in the gym. Yeah.
And after it happened, was it kind of friendly, or, you know, like, could you see that Chris was? I
think so. What happened was that after the spar was done, and it was sort of like they just sort of went, you know, like boom boom, and he went that way, and James stayed in the ring, and he carried on. He was doing, I think, 2 more rounds on the pads just to take it to 10 rounds, and then he was going to just do like last 2 skipping or whatever. And out of nowhere, Eubank Jr.'s come back from wherever he'd come from in the gym and jumped over the top rope into the ring whilst James was doing his pad round. And
well, that thing that he does when he enters, you know how he gets up on the rope and he jumps over, and does those uppercuts.
And it was the most. I just remember thinking when he's done that, I thought this could go off here, like because they weren't the best of friends anyway. And James took that quite disrespectfully and just basically told him to get out in a polite way. And basically Ronnie Davis said to him like get out of the ring, and that was it. He left. They didn't even.
Was he trying to like square nose or?
No, he just sort of.
He does that kind of arrogant kind of. I would say arrogant is probably the wrong word, but he does that look where.
Sort of like
looks into the crowd,
No, he just I don't know. He just come from nowhere, like and he literally got up on the side of the ring. I thought, what's he doing? He just jumped over the top ropes, and I just thought, why? And then from there, it got a little bit heated, and then a few words was exchanged, and then he literally got out. When Ronnie Davis made him get out of the ring, they literally went out the gym doors, and like that was it. There was no like thanks for the sparring, like I'll see you later. It was literally like that was like how it ended. And of course, then he's put things on Twitter and stuff, and that's where it's all sort of like stemmed from, really.
It's kind of been built up quite a.
So literally now, and I get people ask me all the time wherever I go. People go, "What actually happened?" And I don't lie. I don't need to lie because it ain't me. I'm like close with James, obviously, but I've got no reason to lie about a spar that doesn't actually really mean anything. They're 2 complete different fighters now than they was back then. Eubanks has since gone on and, you know, he's won a British title and he won, you can't really count the IBO as it ain't. But he's boxed Billy Joe and he's boxed Groves and he's come up short. But other than that, he's had a few decent wins. I thought Nick Blackwell was a decent win. I thought Spike O'Sullivan was a pretty decent win for him. The Chudinoff fight was a decent win. But the Elite Boys is a little bit different. Like it's a step too far for him. And I think when he steps in there with James on the 23rd of Feb, I think he'll come up short again. I do.
It was like the Super Series, wasn't it? And weirdly enough, I think if I remember rightly, that Eubank was like quite a big favourite against Groves. But part of it, I think, is because of the way he conducts himself and talks. He talks a really good game.
Yeah.
And I think at the time, Groves is quite quiet at the press conference.
Yeah, he don't really say too much, George. And I think because Groves is sort of like. Groves is quite clever with his words. He won't really sort of like buy into the whole sort of Eubank saga. Whereas James is quite hot-headed. Everyone's seen him. He's quite like once he gets going, like that's it. He's off. Whereas George will sort of like sit and plan what he's going to say a little bit more, and he won't really get riled up And I think I backed from as soon as the fight was made. I said George Groves would beat him. I had like a few mates that was going, I'm gonna bet on Eubank, and I went, you're gonna lose your money. Speaking to like just people in boxing, really, like I think the more people in boxing was going for George Groves, but I think the general public, people that was just sort of like that would watch boxing,
because it was like what he was saying and the way he kind of portrayed himself it kind of won people over. Is that probably fair to say?
Yeah, I think Eubank puts himself on the line quite a lot with the things he says. I think with Eubank, he's one of them. He's got his lovers, but he's got a lot of haters as well. He's not in the middle.
No,
he's not one of them sort of characters. Yeah, he's pretty much like James as well, really. Yeah. James is never in the middle. Same with Chris Eubank Jr., where people go, yeah, he's all right. You either really love watching him, or you can't stand him. But I think in boxing, it's important to have that little role because. People will either love you or hate you, and you're known. And
it's a good thing, isn't it? Because people are tuning in because they like you, or they're tuning in because they want to see you get beat.
Exactly.
In a way, George Groves was the same, wasn't he? At one point,
with the Frotch things, and sort of like because people were saying, "Oh, he's been disrespectful to Frotch," but then after the first Frotch fight, everyone's perceptions had changed
massively. But I think because of Frotch's like post-match interview, he came across, and I remember that one because it was even. me, I was a little bit shocked the way he was saying it because it kind of felt like it got the crowds back up a little bit.
Exactly, and it just it shows you how quickly like it can flip 180 and they can go the other way. Like it just because prior to that it was a very pro Cole Froch crowd, and I think because of the performance that Groves put in and the way he conducted himself after and the things like Froch was saying, people was just like, you know, that ain't true.
Because he conducted himself very well.
And then, of course, it went like 180. Then everyone was on George Groves' side then. And then obviously everyone knows what happened after that. They had the rematch and Froch obviously put things right and stuff. But yeah, I think you've got to play your role in the fights. And I think with James and Chris Eubank Jr., I think their styles will certainly gel on the night. But I think it's got all the ingredients, especially in the build-up, to build it into a big fight. There's the history, and James is a very colourful character. So's Eubank, and you can just see it. Like once it mixes, it's gonna mix like really well. But
I think the press conference was going to kick off a lot more than it was. Actually quite mellow.
Yeah.
And I thought, it was going to kind of kick off a little bit.
Yeah. I think because Senior wasn't there, I think it sort of like was a bit mellow. I think everyone was quite shocked he weren't there. Junior didn't really say too much. He just sort of like said a few words. But I think really it's once Senior starts to get going, he sort of does the talking for Junior type thing.
Kind of antagonises.
And I think that would have ignited a little bit more, like had his dad been there. But other than that, it was quite a pretty mellow press conference, considering I thought over the years of what's been said and blah blah blah. I thought he was expecting some form of but he was expecting a few fireworks.
Yeah, I was.
It didn't really happen.
So was James and your dad kind of going in there expecting, right, Chris is probably going to say this and this, or
I think James would have expected that for Eubank to be a little bit more engaging, sort of like in what was being said, but I don't know, maybe he's taking a different approach, maybe he's in the back of his head because I've been stepped up twice before and I've been beaten twice. I can't really say too much. I don't really know how he's thinking. But he was a lot more sort of quieter than expected. But maybe again that's probably because Senior wasn't there.
Yeah, potentially.
So
he's in America, isn't he? A police officer or something, isn't he?
Yeah. Or I heard he was in Dubai. Then I heard he was in.
Saw videos on his Twitter. He's got this badge.
Yeah, he loves it. Yeah, but then I heard that he was in Dubai on business, but then someone said to me they'd seen him in Selfridges getting a sandwich like the day before or whatever. I don't know, but I don't know where he is. I'm sure
I was surprised he wasn't there just to kind of because it's obviously pay-per-view.
To build it up and stuff. Yeah. I'm sure you will see him in the build-up at some stage.
I hope so. In a way, he's entertainment value, isn't he?
He's part of the Eubank package.
Yeah,
like where. Everywhere his son goes, like he's there, and he sort of does all the talking, and Junior just sort of stands there, sort of like.
I mean, sometimes he says things that I think even Junior, maybe.
But I don't think Junior would, even if he disagreed with him, I don't think he would say anything to him. He's just, you can tell he wouldn't answer back to. He's probably been drilled into him from a young age, like don't talk back to your parents, like blah 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 blah, and probably that's still in him to this day.
I mean, when you see Junior a couple of times on a few interviews, he seems actually like a quite, nice chap. But I think sometimes it's.
I personally don't obviously know him, but
you don't know.
I'm sure he ain't a bad kid. Like I'm sure, but it's just when it comes to boxing, I suppose some of the. Do you know what I think it is? I think because they talk about him on such a high pedestal, like his dad said. He's going to be better than Floyd Mayweather Jr. And then he said that he would destroy Gennady Golovkin and then Andre Ward, and then he said he'd beat Billy Joe and George. And I think because he's come up short against them, that level of opposition, the fact that his dad still puts him on that pedestal, I think the general public look at it, and I think that's why he gets quite a lot of stick.
Yeah.
But because he ain't a bad fighter, he's not. Like he's a very, very good, solid fighter. But he's just not he's not up there with the elite boys like the Canelos, the Golovkins, the DEGALEs, the Groveses, the Billy Joes. He's just underneath that. But he'll give you problems because he is a good solid fighter. But he's not in that little mix where he can mix it with all them boys, like and come out victorious.
Do you think it's testament to James that he's now got himself, or Eubank's now got a trainer, an actual trainer?
Yeah.
Because
I think I said it before. I think there's like pluses and minuses to it, because I think the plus side is it might give him a new lease of life. It might give him a different outlook on things. He might prep a little bit more differently. I don't really know how he's sort of going to approach it or whatever. The minus is if he doesn't listen, and the click's not there. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I'm sure he wouldn't have him involved if he didn't feel that it was beneficial to him. But they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks in 6 to 8 weeks. So
he tried with Adam Booth, didn't he?
Yeah, and then I think I've read somewhere that he was with another American trainer as well, and that didn't work out. And obviously Ronnie Davis has been there for years and years, and I don't know. He said in interviews before that he doesn't take no notice of Ronnie Davis, and he said that he's only there to
guide him or
or wash my gum shield on the night. And Ronnie Davis has got wealth of experience. He's a really good man to have in your corner. So to not take his advice is nuts. Really.
Sometimes it's again it could be taken out of context, but I kind of feel it's what he said. He said a couple of things that's a bit disrespectful to Ronnie. I think it was in the Billy Joe fight, wasn't it? Ronnie was trying to talk to him. He
told him to shut up
or
something. Yeah. I suppose listen, when you're in that heat of battle, you sometimes say things that you not that you don't mean it, but where your emotions are high and your adrenaline's pumping. I'm sure him and Ronnie Davis have a brilliant relationship. They must do to have had that years. Yeah, I just don't understand why you just don't sort of sit and listen to him and take his advice. But again, I suppose that's I'm sure he can answer that. But he said it before. But yeah, it's his decision.
So how does break down how James beats Chris, in your opinion?
I think James DEGALE just has to be James DEGALE. Really, the fighter that's won an Olympic gold medal, British title, European title, two world titles. If James DEGALE is James DEGALE, and the James DEGALE that we all know, he stands Eubanks on his head. What a lot of people are saying though is that James is shot and he's over the hill, and Eubanks has got him at the right time, and this, that, and the other. We're going to see in 6 weeks' time. But I just think that James is just so well schooled, so experienced. He's got so much just natural talent and ability that I just can't see Eubank winning the fight. I just can't see it. I think he's a middleweight. This fight's at super middleweight. I think he is a middleweight, strong at middleweight. But when he gets in with these boys at super middle, it's a completely different ball game. They're big, strong men.
It showed in the Groves fight. Really.
Yeah, you could see the size difference. By the time from the weigh-in to the fight, you could see Groves was massive. He looked about 2 weight divisions above him, and he struggled to sort of, I don't know, get inside and try and really let his hands go. But I think after this fight, I think James beats him, and beats him fairly convincingly. I think he drops back down to middleweight. I do. Yeah. And
from James, does James have ambitions to win another world title, or is it now just a couple more big money?
I think James, as a competitor, would always want to win titles. Everyone loves the WBC belt. It's got to be every kid's team dream that turns pro to win that belt. And he nearly had it in the Badou Jack fight. It was obviously that come to a draw. And listen, he would jump at the chance to fight for another world title. But for him as well, in his own mind, he's like, I've done my apprenticeships I've been world champion for 3.5 years. I've boxed the best all over the world. I want the big meaningful fights now that's gonna set me up for life, which I think's more than fair for him. Because I think he's been all over the world, he's boxed all over America, he's boxed everyone that's been put in front of him. And for this one, especially for the Eubank one, it's a much bigger fight for a lesser risk, like from the news category fight.
There's a bit of like, again, it's just social media, isn't it? That people saying, "Oh, why did he give up his belt?" But at the end of the day, if you're going to earn like a fifth of what you could earn in, plus it's a good British dust off.
Yeah, of course.
It's like a big fight. It's a massive fight.
Yeah, boxing fans really will know.
They're fickle at times, aren't they?
Yeah, but so boxing fans would know whose category is.
Yeah.
But I could go around and see my mates and say, do you know?
And then they'd probably get a load of stick for fighting someone.
Yeah.
Like he's mandatory, wouldn't he?
Exactly, and they'd be going, who's Jose's category? And I'd be like, mate, he's a tough boy. But I go, do you know who Chris Eubank Jr. is? And they go, yeah, of course I do. Like, would you want to see DEGALE fight you? Oh yeah, let me know when that is. I'll come to that. But that's a sell, and I think it's a less dangerous fight, and financially it's a much more rewarding fight for James. So I think it makes perfect sense to take the Eubank fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll look forward to that one. You've got Paulie Malignaggi joining the team.
Correct,
What was the idea behind that?
So James has been based like a lot in America, and obviously with Al Heyman and stuff, and he's been training in Miami, and I think Paulie sorted out a lot of the sparring, and he watches, like he see the fight with the Truax fights, and I mean Paulie Malignaggi's got wealth of experience himself as a fighter. He understands the game. He's a brilliant analyst.
I think he's one of the best.
Yeah.
And I don't always think he's popular with the broadcasters because he
just speaks his mind, which is what you want. And James and Paulie get on really well. My dad gets on really well with Paulie, and it's a good, strong.
And he's in the UK now.
I don't think he's here at the moment, but he will be over for the fight. Yeah, I don't know if he's coming for fight week or a few weeks before. Or whatever.
Is he going to be in the corner on fight night?
I don't think he is, but I think he's going to be in and around us, all week. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But as far as from the Truax fight when we was in Vegas, he was working for Showtime that night, but he was in and around us pretty much all week. But yeah, he wasn't in the corner that night, so I'm not too sure.
Yeah, he's a good wealth of experience. When I interviewed him once, he's so knowledgeable.
Real
nice chap.